To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether it's nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing, end them. To die, to sleep no more, and by sleep to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation, devoutly be wished, to die, to sleep perchance to dream. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off the mortal coil, must give us pause. There is the respect that comes with the calamity of such a long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time? Oppressor wrong the proud man continues, the pangs of undesirable love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, the spurns that patient of the merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietus make with a bare bookin. Who would these fardels to grunt to sweat under a weary life, but that dread of something after death, the undiscovered country, from whose bourne no traveller returns, puzzles the will, and makes us rather bear those ills we have, than to fly to others that we not know of. Thus conscience makes cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sickled over with the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pith and moment, with disregard of currents, turn away, and lose the name of action. Okay, here's my soapstone for Hamlet's part. Okay, just for context for the speaker, obviously it's Hamlet, but specifically Prince Hamlet, because there is also King Hamlet in this play, but Prince Hamlet's the main character. So basically for context, he's the Prince of Denmark. King Hamlet, his father, died in the beginning of the play, and his brother Claudius took the throne. Also, just for context, the Ophelia mentioned is the lady that Hamlet's in love with. Okay, so the occasion, basically what's happening right now is that he's really upset over everything that happened since his dad died at the beginning. This is his tragic fall, and everything's going wrong. For example, Ophelia is she's stopping responding to him. He's writing her letters and she's not responding. That's why he's saying, let's see, where is it? The heartache and pangs of despised love. So he's basically losing his lover. And he's jealous that he doesn't take the throne. And he's also angry because he basically has to kill Claudius, and he's angry that he's made to do that. So for the audience, obviously he's speaking to himself because it's a soliloquy. So he's just kind of voicing his thoughts out loud. The purpose is he's basically nonchalantly saying that he would want to kill himself. He's saying that to die, right here, is to sleep. To sleep is to dream. And he's saying it's a great thing that suicide is finally where he would get to rest. And he must receive his pause, and that in the sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. There's the respect. Means that all the troubles that he's experienced basically is just leading eventually to his death, and he just wants to get to it already. That's why he's saying, who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor wrong. And all these lines, just to grunt and sweat under a weary life, he's basically just wanting the solace that death or sleeping brings. That he's saying that death is just a time for recovery, a time that your soul will finally rest from the sea of troubles. And on top of that, he also says that people who fear death, basically having a conscious and being aware of death, makes us all cowards, that you would live more fully if you didn't even know death was there. And he's saying this because he knows he has to kill someone. And when you make death something as ambiguous and not a big deal, it kind of takes the weight off. So I think Hamlet in a way wants to justify killing his own brother. So yeah, the subject was basically that the uncertainty of the afterlife makes cowards of us all. And suicide is really not as bad as it sounds, and that death is a good thing and nothing to be feared and nothing to want to actively avoid, because it's what brings all our pains to an end, and that living is just pain. But the main theme here is that
life is spiritually ambiguous and you don't know what's going to happen after. And he's asking himself, what's the point of even living? Even if I don't know what comes after, it has to be better than what I'm going through right now. Okay, so for the tone, I said it was philosophical, obviously, because he's contemplating life and death. Inquisitive, he's asking himself a lot of questions, to be or not to be. And also, he's a little bitter over Ophelia, over everything, over his brother, his father. He's saying he's suffering and he's angry. He's angry at life, and he's angry that what he has to do, and he's angry that it had to be him to do it, that he had to experience all this. And for devices, I mainly said the extended metaphor of sleep being death. It suggests that it's a restful state of recovery, ending the pains of life, and he's saying that dreams will come after like a horrible mortal coil, or like after a terrible life, something has to be better. And that suicide is desirable, and that's something he wants. That's what he's implying. And I also mentioned the chiasmus of the first line, which is a literary device where the words are reversed, and it really just catalyzes the meaning that he's asking himself what life and death even mean, and that they're basically living is pointless. And he's even asking himself, is it better to suffer or to just end it all? And to be or not to be just sets up the stage, the preface for the entire meaning of the poem. It's basically just a question over and over with some detail.